So, Venerable Sir and Upasaka, Upasika, and friends, okay, good evening. This will be my second talks, just give you some idea about the Dharma. So since we are going to practice compassion meditations, and I'd like to take this compassion as the subject for our talk today. If you are Chinese, I want to say that again. Please also understand the word "bei" or in should be translated as a compassion. Do not take that the word "bei" or the compassion as a sadness. Okay, and very, very important, the original word in Sanskrit or Pali that called karuna never carries any meanings of sadness or so-called grief. It had nothing to do with the grief and sadness. You might be challenging me, so what kind of word is in Sanskrit and Pali is a sadness? It's not karuna, but you could say Barideva. What else? For example, Barideva is one of the words. Lomahanso is one of the words, and so forth. All those mean the sadness and grief, but not the word karuna. But I know that it's very clear for people who actually speak English take the English as the mother tongue. Certainly they understand there's a one word called compassion, a compassionate mind. But still, I think we need to define it clearly. In Buddhist understanding, when we say the compassion, okay, it always implies caring tremendously about the suffering of others, so as if it will like one's own. Okay, that's what the compassion and really deep understanding in the Buddhism. Okay, or you could understand someone like compassion. It's something that you can witness on any individual suffering. Okay. And then this kind of and compassion it's kind of like you can observe, right, the suffering and the source of the suffering that are present to anyone. Okay. Even though we still must really try to avoid that grief is the near enemy of compassion. It means when you have compassion, you might be very easily liable to become grief, but still you need to be very careful. Grief is not compassion, and compassion is not grief. Okay. But in the Buddhism, usually we define it in such a way: what is a near enemy of the grief? What is a near enemy of the compassion? That is the grief or sorrow. But you know that also the same thing. Whenever we do, we might be easy to fall and fail. But when you practice the compassion, so when you've been carried away, you might be, while practicing compassion, you can be easily carried away by the sorrow and grief as well. So that's why we say the compassion, the near enemy of the compassion is the grief, right? It's almost like, for especially the men, when they were young, like when we were like a teenager and when we were younger, we really like to read this 武侠小说, right? I don't know 武侠小说 in English is kind of like, martial art movie, kind of martial art book, The man always believed that, I can be born as a normal guy, and one day I met a master 武侠小说. I met a master. When I met a master, and after I get a skill, I can be from a normal guy suddenly I become a kung fu master, right? I can fly. I can use a sword to hit. But every kind of skill you learn, but you have a weakness, right? even learning Wuxia Xiaoshuo, oh, that guy he was very fortunate, even though he was a danger, he was almost dying, he was facing the dying, and then he fall from the cliff, and then he will survive by the one master, and the master said, oh, you have time, learn the Kung Fu after me. Don't you have those dreams? I know that when I was a kid, I always have those kind of dreams. And then it's always, sometimes you don't like it, but that's how you make the challenge. And like when they learn all these skills, it's almost like the 无敌金刚 in Chinese, like he become the most powerful person, but then still the weakness is there, And then someone will somehow have the, talent or information to know, even though he's so powerful, but he still has a weakness in any part. In English idiom, there's a called Achilles heel, right? The Achilles heel, Achilles or Aquila? Achilles heel, right? So even though he's so powerful with, I think Achilles, did he use the Thor? Huh? Yeah, spear, but his weakness on his heel, right? But do remember the same thing. When you practice the karuna, practice the compassion, what is really your weakness? That means you can be destroyed, your compassion is your grief and sorrow. 一个希腊的神话里面的。Anyway, you have to remember that what is really that will be actually the weak. I still need to stress this again. The weakness of practicing the compassion is like Achilles' heel is the grief and sorrow. Okay. And other thing is very important also. Then why we have to practice compassion now? It's certainly you can agree with because the Buddha say you need to do, okay? But for a rational reason, why we have to practice that? Because that, and since any religion I would believe will admonish the same thing that everyone should have, that we need to learn how to remove our cruelty in our mind. The direct way to remove the cruelty, the vengeance mind, the cruelty mind, it's because that by developing compassionate mind. Okay. Besides that might be not only the reason. Besides it, we always, sometimes, because we need to protect ourselves, in a lot of time we need to protect ourselves, we sometimes can be very carelessly become indifferent to other persons. Right? Especially when the people thought they have been harmed, they are the victim. When like a little child, even nowadays in the psychology, when they've been really think that they were being hurt when they were younger, they always want to seek for solace, right? They want to seek for by themselves. They don't want to talk to people. They just want to stay by themselves. So, if you are especially if a religious person, and none of the religious persons saying that we become a religious person because I don't care about you. I just want to be myself. Right? As an all religious person, including Buddhism, that you still have to learn to recognize there are people beside you out there suffering. What actually can be the potent power for you to recognize that? Maybe some people by born they have this power. But some people, as I say, when they were younger, they might not necessarily have this sort of, might be just by nature, you could say that the person is like that. Or you could say because that when he was younger, he encountered something really terrible to that person, so that he just learned to clothe himself. So the trauma always lives with that person. Right? That's the reason why, for any religious, I'm sure for any religion, always address the word suffering. To address the suffering is not the way to ask you to feel sorrow. Please remember this. This is not a Buddhist teaching. Otherwise, we make a big contradictory about Buddhist teaching. Say, learning teaching is makes you out of suffering, and then now we tell you there's a suffering, right? I guess you might have this confusion sometimes. But anyway, now one important thing is that how you can have a very good quality of mind is because when you develop this compassion, you started to actually outlook also for everyone also facing suffer. And it become a really potent power or powerful, potent kind of reason for you to reach out to the people. Now, by reaching out to people, not asking you to be suffer like them. Remember, I just want to rephrase this again. When you're reaching out to the people, you are developing the compassionate mind, but not grief and sorrow mind. Now, let me give you one example. Dhammadeva, me, okay? I don't like to teach meditation, whether you believe or not. I like to read. I like to go for conference. Let me tell you what I like. I like to travel. And whenever I'm free, I like to just go here and there. When I get tired, I just like to meditate. I don't like to give teaching. I don't like to instruct meditation. You know why? Also, let me tell you. Unfortunately now, teaching meditation like a competition. You know? Like competition. People judge you. You are good. You are bad. This is better. That's fine. People are entitled to their judgment. But the problem is, when they find somebody think they are better than them, they think you are the shit. That's the worst thing. They never appreciate what you learn. And this is, you live in this kind of world. I become a monk 30 years. When the first day I become a monk, my master is a forest monk. Actually, if you ask me when I become a monk, did I like meditation? No. Let me tell you, no. I was chanting all the time, Amitabha, Amitabha, all the time. I was very devoted 2 years. And that's why it inspired me to become a monk. No, I didn't like meditation. Sit there and thinking and notice I have so many bad things in me. And I want to forget it. But now I must say I was lucky. Actually, I tell you, I was really hate my teacher at that time sometimes. And sit there, and why nobody saved me in Miami, Sri Lanka, and myself. Okay. So nobody knows how you go through. Anyway, I want to say one thing. Sometimes I'm thinking, why I want to teach? Wasting my time. After that, you hear the people criticize you. Yeah, some people are very nice. They still like you, That's also a problem of me. And I also care too much people criticism. And I was so narrow-minded. I cannot take that criticism. It is. I need to struggle this. And I want to know, how can I solve this problem? I also believe I meditate quite well. I can understand what is no self, blah, 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 blah. But sometimes the self is there. I can be no self by most of the time. When people criticize me, my self is there. And the ego is there. Now, something that important is, then I don't have time to meditate like a Buddha, up to the Buddha, or whatever. And maybe I don't even have the really good merits to really become good measures for me to really keep on meditating up to somehow like the Buddha. But before that, right, before I reach to the Buddha, I want to find a solution. What makes me, I know I'm doing good thing, but I also have problem. How can I reconcile these two things? You know what I'm saying? As I say, to come to teach meditation, it's compassion, nothing. Sometimes I forget, that's why I get angry. But if I remember, I will feel my samadhi, my concentration is there. This is, either you are as a practitioner, either you one day become a teacher, or either one day you really want to become activist, somebody who really want to do something for the human kindness. You face people, you're doing good things, people against you, people jealous about you. Because they only think about, I'm the best, why you are there. They don't think what these people doing good thing for the humankind, right? You will bound to face this problem, trust me. Actually, I don't think that you need to be like a leader, even just be activist or, calling for the environment, what we call environmental problem, or walking out telling the people something. You must have the clear conscience and so forth. Even if you are working in a company, any place, stay in a community as among the monks and nuns, always you will see when they're fighting is always forget the compassion, right? If they have compassion, they don't fight. They just try to, help each other. And the worst thing, they allow this kind of jealousy, hatred, eat them, rather than forget the Buddha teaching, the Dharma, take the Dharma into you and makes you a better person and make the environment, make people better. Everybody think I'm the best. Christian think I have Jesus, all right? We have I don't know whether you're a rabbi, but the Judaism maybe think I have da-da-da, they don't want to call the name, right? The God, there's a name. And the Muslim think another thing. And Buddhist worse. Some say I have Bodhisattva, some say I have Arahant, some say I have Buddha, some say no, I have Amitabha Buddha, some say I have the Vaisyaja Guru Buddha. Okay, you have the faith. I always say you have the best father. I'm really happy for you, right? But like I have my best parents. I'm not going to say your parents are worse, right? And your parents is worse than my parents because I have the best parents. No. I understand how important is the parents. Get it now? When you tell me, I also have my parents are really good. I'm really happy for you. Right? Say, why? In other words, how can I develop this mind that I can recognize you have your best parent and I have my best parent? Because I have love, loving kindness. Because I have compassion. Okay. Now, this is one of the things that I need to also mention. In the past, when we learning Buddhism, we always say, whatever we do because of our past life, right? So this is what we call traditional way understanding Buddhism. For example, when the people say, why nowadays people hate each other? Because of the past life. In the past, what about this discrimination? People looked down on women, in the history. The woman was always been a victim. But actually, sometimes men also be a victim. But that's another thing. I don't want to argue about. But certainly, for historical truth, they could not vote. There are lots of things they should do, they could not do, because the male always dominate the power, right? Okay, but You could just say, oh, that is because of past life. Some even horribly saying that, oh, you know, because your bad karma, you were born as a woman, right? You never heard about this? I was in the Buddhist circle for a long time. I heard people say that. I was like, wow, that is really brave, right? Now, I want to say this because in the nowadays modern time, we forget we forget the maybe let me rephrase the word. We forget how powerful could be when there is so-called this structural violence. So, what the structural violence refer to, say, the caste system in India. They believe that when you were born, you are the low caste, you're always at the low caste. And if you were born as a poor people, you are always deprived of education, deprived of anything, right? Or because you were born as a woman, you definitely labeled as a weak person, and as a man, as a powerful person, right? This is what we call the structural violence. Even when people, I don't know whether they agree or disagree, but at least some voices say, even when people say that I'm a homosexual, and then you want to deprive the people saying that, deprive the people of homosexuality, the power, the rights to be in the way they want to live, basically put it that way. That's what we call the structural violence. So now, in other words, I always think this is the time, especially we are in America, with learning Buddhism, we must also have this responsibility, or I would say, if you are the monastic member, we must have this duty, I won't say just responsibility, but even the duty, that we need to, really have our compassion in action. I call that compassion in action. Maybe you will question me, so Dhammadeva, if you say the compassion in action, but why we are here? Why don't we just walk out now and have the play and say, I don't know what you like to call, anything? I don't know, anyway, forget it. Then you may say, why we are here? Let me tell you, you still need to be here. No, I did investigate for a long time. Maybe now it reminds me one story. Actually, just before last month, when I was invited to participate the AIDS, for the AIDS. I don't know what kind of program. Somehow, there was a group of people from different non-profit organizations. They want to protest nowadays in front of the White House that. Even though nowadays there's a lot of medicine now that can cure AIDS now, not cure, subdue the AIDS now. At least still this movement, 20 years ago it was a huge movement because some people really think that these people who got AIDS, they deserve to die, and they have a lot of this discrimination about people who have AIDS, And they always think that people who have AIDS almost are homosexual, but it's not necessarily, I'm sure, And then those guys is a disease, unfortunately, that in a human. And what happened is, when this kind of thing happened, what I want to say, I remember when I was invited, I was hesitant to go. Why I was hesitant? Because I'm not the kind of people to go out, calling, we should be. I forgot what they say. Anyway, I just follow them, But they need a Buddhist group to represent, they have all kind of religion, but there's no Buddhist group. Then without hesitation, I said, fine, just go. And I need to prepare my mind, I don't want to go there sound like, I was forced to be here. And if I'm there, I need to be really sure I'm doing it, I really want to do it, right? And I guess I can manage well. By what? Because I have a compassion. I was just thinking in many ways with the compassion, thinking about people. Either I agree or disagree, whatever, but certainly the people are suffering, right? So, and I walk and I'm just thinking the people are suffering. And the people was doing their job, doing that. They could go to any places, but they just want to save the time to do this protest in front of the White House. So, and I also have compassion to these people because they really, working very hard on all this, to make the voice comes along. Now, at that time, I saw I had one student who followed me, and I looked at him. He looked very uneasy, So, of course, I didn't score him. Why you look uneasy? It doesn't sound good to me. I didn't do that. I just say, you do feel uneasy? He said, yeah, I never participate in this kind of thing. I just usually like to go in the room and read. And then I told him, it's all right, maybe next time you don't have to come, but at least just learn how to go with the flow, Now, I'm giving you the example, just want to tell you, one way when you're really in a very awkward situation, you think you are in an awkward situation, at least you think you are in an awkward situation, you could always, don't forget, you have a compassion mind there. When the compassionate mind developed, so you are not in sorrow stage, you are not in grief stage, but actually you are become much more helpful. Okay. Now, then that reflect how did I could do that? It's because at least I have a little training. I won't call I'm very good, but I have a little training. That little training helped me to know this is not the moment I'm saying, what the heck, why I'm here, Get it now? But this is a moment. And look at these people. They have compassion. And I always teach compassion. Right? So I always teach compassionate mind. And where is it now? Okay. This is called awareness. Okay. Then that awareness comes to me. And this awareness comes to me, then I realize I would just practice my compassion. I have the wonderful day. Every second, every moment, every walk, even when they give a talk, they have a different religious representation, gives talk. I have to honestly tell you, some talk, I'm not necessarily buy it so much because of my belief system, but I still have a compassion to these people because they have their own belief system. They have their faith that help them to move out to do good things for humankind. Get it now? Right? And this is what the compassion is about. And I thought I would have a bad day. And I saw my student really had a bad day, okay? And I have a good day. And now, this is what I'm saying. Practice compassion, since I just say the definition is to, then you will understand the other individual suffering. But to give it in the what we call the engaged Buddhist term, we actually also must not just limit ourselves in here, but we can actually practice a compassion meditation anywhere you go. Okay? Then now I still need to say, then why you need to practice here? Because you need to consolidate your compassion. Okay? And even the best thing, not just consolidate your compassion, you're able to make this compassion become strong like a tree. Okay? That you see everything with the compassionate mind. Then and very important, when you have a samadhi, your mind is always stable, clear, straightforward, without lying, right? And when this samadhi is come from where? You can have the samadhi come from breath. You can have the samadhi come from loving kindness. But now you have the samadhi come from compassion. And this samadhi come from compassion, I need to remind again, it's never the only enemy of the compassion. Remember, the near enemy of compassion is sorrow and grief. What does it tell you? It tells you that when you have the compassion, you don't have grief, you don't have sorrow, but you could only stay with the people. That's why I'm not a Greek monk, whatever, but back to what I just said earlier time. At the end, I choose to teach meditation because I was forced to. I was forced to teach, not I want to. If you ask Dhammadippa, if you have a choice, you just stay in a temple, relax, reading, doing whatever you like, and some other people teach a meditation, and you can have a good life to travel. Trust me, I will go the first one. You know, why should I come here? People can do the better job than I don't need to be here. I will just go to travel, meet my friend, have nice meal, right? Do my meditation, and sometimes sleep a little more. But every time when I knew that I have a retreat in meditation, actually my anxiety comes. My poor Sagarananda knows. I always show my angry face. And I didn't know, so he is my half doctor. I always, what, tomorrow is going to teach meditation. Tomorrow is going to teach meditation. And I started to become very like a child, a mature person, childish, like, give me water. Why you want to bring me this water? Why not other water? Yeah, then my bitchy mind comes. Why? It's horrible. Why? Because I don't like to teach. And I feel like my freedom has gone. My freedom gone. No, don't think that I'm very proud. I'm not very proud. I really think my freedom is gone. You know, 7 days here, wow. 7 days freedom is gone. You know, I had to wake up at that time and do this time and go give a talk. Anyway. No, this is what I'm going to explain, sorry. Yeah. You look, I'm not pretend here. Actually, I hate to teach, but I'm here and pretend. I love you, guy, you know. I'm not, at least I try not to pretend, you know, because I know pretending is useless, you know. It's not good for me. At least not good for me. So this is why I need to just compassion. It is, and the thing is that my grief, my burden, my sorrow will just disperse by itself. Because I knew, yeah, maybe some people they have this and that, but I certainly have a very good trust in Dharma, in teaching. And I believe the Buddha teachings, certainly, whether you want to take how much is up to you, but even you take a little bit for you, it's certainly very helpful for your life. And that's the only thing that bring me, okay, just teach, right? You know, actually, if I really just want to earn money, this is definitely not the way. I should go to the consulting company, and I should go to train as a consultant. I can tell you a lot of tricks if you want to. and do this and that. Then I can go to the consulting company asking how much I can have a course for you, have a beautiful mind in working or buying the stock market and whatever, okay? But definitely this is not my mind. My mind is also why I want to come to temple is because this is a temple. So I want people understand the temple. It's not the place just asking for, oh, help. You can do that. You can play the Buddha and asking for, you have difficulty, talk to the Buddha, talk to the Bodhisattva. You can do that. But I still want something more. Hope that at least you come to the temple, you gain something as a humanity. It will give you the real teaching that you get the samadhi and you get the wisdom, and you can do something really better for the humankind. Okay? All right? Now, this is the reason why you have to practice compassion. Now, don't tell me again. Say, to meditate to the people in suffering, and I'm also suffer. Actually, I even had the wrong idea in the past. Even though in Abhidharma, we learned that it's not like that, but our mind, especially the Chinese, as I say, the Chinese word is so bad in this way. Chinese word is beautiful, but this word is so bad. I want to say, the Bei, it still give me the carry the meaning, suffer. So, put it this way. When I have a cell phone, when I was in England, I never have a cell phone. Not never. I reject to have a cell phone for a few years. Actually, and afterwards, I was forced to have a cell phone. When you have a cell phone, you're just like a dog, okay? People call you all the time, if you're a monk especially. Dhammadeva, today I lost my this and that. Can you pray for him? Okay. And later, ding, ding, ding again. Dhammadeva, now I lost my love. Tell me, what should I do? Okay. And why is 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? Again, the cell phone call. There was a time horrible. All the time the cell phone was calling, And I need to be the advisor for the love, advisor for the divorce, advisor for the family problem, advisor because the kid doesn't listen to them, and even advisor for the kid telling the parents don't listen to them. I was full of anxiety, anger. Sometimes, I cannot sleep because the worry carried me all the time, And sometimes this kind of question asking you, it make me even start to think my problem. Who can I tell my problem? Who? Then I only can tell the Buddha, so I have that problem, but I didn't hear the answer. If you ask me how later on I come to understand these 4 abode or 4 sublime abiding meditation so important, this is one of the reasons. Because I find I study in England by myself. As I train as a Theravada tradition, we never cook. Actually, according to the really strict Vinaya rule, that we cannot cook. According to rule, because when you cook, you choose this and choose that. You should actually eating whatever people given to you, right? That's show you're humble. You are really, But anyway, that's the way. I never learned cooking, so that's why in England, when I lived there, I have to buy a lot of cookery book. You don't have that much cookery book like me. I have 5 of them. Okay. I have to learn how to cook. Now, I want to say that when you really become independent, and when I was protected in the monastery, then I come out from the monastery, I really need to deal with everything myself. I start to see a lot of things unfolded to me. The anxiety. I want to study, I will have to listen to people's problems, I have the anxiety of whether I can finish my dissertation. In America, they call dissertation. And then also anxiety will leave the people, and I want to tell people I'm a good monk, and I always pretend having this mask with me, I have a lot of problems, but when I meet people, I cannot show I have problems. Can I? Hello, can I? If I show I have a problem, you will away from me. You will never believe me. It's fine, you don't believe me. The problem you don't trust Buddhism. That's what the worst thing. So in order to protect the Buddhism, I need to show I'm also very calm all the time. Okay. But I know very well, sometimes my mind is not calm. When I got a phone call, people telling me things, sometimes I get really angry. Why you want to tell me this? Why none of people telling me, hey, I have a good time. Do you want to come for a party? Nobody invite me for party. We are the token of suffering. When you have problem, come to see the monk. When you're at a happy time, come to see the priest. I'm Donald. Okay. Please don't take it this mean. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that that's one of the reasons why I start to think in the past before I come to England. Even when I finished teaching in Taiwan, I was proud like a teacher. In Taiwan in those days, when you become a teacher, especially you are the teacher in a postgraduate, oh, you're like a king. You don't need to do anything. Trust me, I was living in the room there. Every student come ask me, 5 of them at least, Master, do you want me to clean your room? You even clean my room? Yes. How about your clothes? Oh, do you want to wash your clothes? You want my clothes? Yes. You don't have to do anything. Really. And what they call speck and spin, I forgot in English, mean truly clean. They clean so nice. Not only that, what do you like to drink? They give it to you. It's like that, so wonderful. But when you do go to England, it's nothing. Really nothing. You need to struggle from scratch to anything. Now, this is something I don't want to pretend anymore. How can I really live the people? And I'm still not a fully enlightened person, right? I need to say this again. How can I live with the people nicely and as a religious people, yet I'm not the Buddha. I'm not the fully enlightened one. Right? So I was really thankful to my teacher who, when I just newly become a monk, who teach me this. Okay. And I forget this Dharma. I forgot this teaching, this Dharma long ago. I was become a monk in 1987. I went to England 1999. There was how many years? 12 years? Just only 12 years? 1987, 12 years. Oh, it's not too bad actually. Really not too bad. So let's say after not directly 12 years, but in the 15 years, something like that, after a few years in England, so I start to realize I need to change. Because either I will live in lie, or either I will be somehow, let me see, either I live in very suffering. So whether you believe or not, I don't know, but I will just give you one advice. Take this compassion meditation to you. And the other second reason, of course, since I live in a monastery and I live in many countries, I live from Sri Lanka and then to Paris, from Paris to Taiwan, then to Europe, and then to Europe now, then to America, and in the Buddhist community also. So if you can always see, we all have grief, we all have anger, we all have ignorance, we all have jealousy, we all sometimes have doubt. Do not think that they are not have. Everybody have that, unless you're the Buddha, right? Or the Greek Bodhisattva. Now, we know that we all have this. Everybody have that. I'm sure the Buddha know that too. But at least my understanding, the Buddha still believe, even though we all have this, but we still can live harmony. By what we can live harmony? By what? By, of course, Buddhism means the Dharma, right? The right Dharma, the correct Dharma, or you could say the wholesome thing. the wholesome Dharma. What is this wholesome Dharma? And among that, which one is the most powerful one? Of course, I would believe it's compassion. Look at your life. When you have compassion, do you solve the problem better? And do you live better even? Unless you tell me no. It's okay, you can challenge me. I like it. No, I always believe that. Let's say I know that tomorrow I'm going to teach meditation. Like before I come here, actually I get a lot of anxiety. 7 days? Wow. But if I have compassion, actually people can learn something. And also, I have a compassion to my assistant. I shouldn't treat him so badly. Because he also not happy too. Right? He might not be happy too, but why I want to treat him badly? So when the compassion comes, I would say, I'm a little thirsty. Do you think you can prepare me some tea? At least I would say, hey, give me some tea. No, I changed my tune. Why I changed my tune? Why I changed my way of talking? Because of my compassion. I recognize that I am not the only one suffer. Okay? He also suffer too. And people maybe also have this problem too. Not I only have the anger, not I only have this ignorance or what, but the people also have that same thing too. So because I have it, then that's the reason why I know how this anger, ignorance, what we call a craving makes you suffer a lot. This is how you can relate to others. They are the same, right? By thinking of people having the suffering, you live happily. Why? Because the compassion is there. Okay. All right, I should end the talk. Take a 10 minutes break, and then we need to come back to the instruction as a method, how to meditate on the compassionate mind concentration or compassionate mind samadhi. Okay? Yeah, take a 10 minutes break. So, thank you. You can ask a question afterwards. Yeah. You have lots of questions? You can ask now, it's okay.